Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher, gets pulled early in the series finale against the Reds as the Dodgers' wild month of July wraps up on a sour note. Should LA fans be sounding the alarm?
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Los Angeles couldn't complete the sweep in Cincinnati, with Shohei Ohtani being pulled in the fourth inning and not due to performance. Andy Pages had a terrible eighth inning where he gift-wrapped the win for Cincinnati. And it's trade deadline day in the big leagues. Will the Dodgers pull the trigger or stay put? I'm talking all about it in today's episode, which is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use the promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your first order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. I'm Henry Ruiz, Spanish radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and USC football. I have nearly 2 decades of experience working in sports media, and I bleed Dodger Blue for life. I'm completing my first month of co-hosting this pod where, man, I'm having a blast jumping on the mic every weekday to dive deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. And yes, even if the team didn't do great in July, this platform gives me the ability to share what I have in mind regarding the boys in blue. Shohei Ohtani. All eyes are on him every time he hits the field. After 7 years of his career going to waste in Anaheim, 1 year at Chavez Ravine, and he's already a World Series champion. He created the 50-50 club and also became the first player ever to win the MVP in consecutive years after switching leagues. And that was while being half of the player he could be because he hadn't been on the mound since August 2023. This year, we've had the opportunity to see him pitch now in 7 games, with Wednesdays being the first one where he threw in the 4th inning. Unfortunately, he clearly wasn't himself throughout this outing. 6 out of the 15 players he faced got on base, including 5 of them with hits. He didn't have the command we saw him with in previous starts. A lot of traffic on the bases in all but the 3rd inning. The final batter he faced was handed a 4-pitch walk that included 2 fastballs that were wild pitches and moved what ended up being the game-tying run from 1st to 3rd. Shohei Ohtani was approached by Dave Roberts and a trainer after the walk and was pulled from the game. Post-game, Shohei said he began feeling cramping in his right hip in the 1st inning, right at the beginning of the game, but wanted to battle through it. But that it got to a point where it was impacting his delivery and his command. Ohtani said that he expects to make his next start, which is scheduled for Wednesday against the Cardinals at Dodger Stadium. Dave Roberts said that he doesn't have any concerns. Well, he has more information, of course, as the manager of the team. But all of the fans, we were on pins and needles the moment that he got pulled because it was clear that he wasn't at 100%. The interesting part here is that let's not forget that there's a Shohei Ohtani rule where even if he's taken out of the game as a pitcher, he can continue as a designated hitter, and he had 3 more at-bats in the game. So right there, we could all exhale because he kept playing. So that was definitely a positive. The problem is he went 0 for 5 in back-to-back games. He finished July batting .204. He only had 19 hits this month, and 9 of them were home runs versus a total of 32 strikeouts. Yikes! Shohei's an alien. He's amazing. He's your favorite player's favorite player. But he needs to change his approach, man, because besides his home runs, he only had 1 extra base hit this month. This all-or-nothing swinging for the fences isn't going to work on the long haul. Is he trying too hard? Dave Roberts clearly fears giving him a day off because Shohei wants to play every single game. And while I appreciate the effort, the love for the game, the being there for his team every day and night, I think that getting some rest would benefit him. And maybe even the team. If he gets a day off, have Will Smith be your DH and Dalton Rushing your catcher. Schedule it here and there, maybe the day before or after he has a start on the mound. Is he trying too hard? Maybe. Or maybe this is what a pro athlete should look like, and he just cares so much about winning for his team. But Shohei Ohtani, pitching and batting, might not be the best for him and the team. His bat has clearly suffered when it comes to hitting for average since he took the mound. In 70 games before he pitched this year, 297 average, 83 hits, 11 doubles, 5 triples, 25 home runs, and 41 RBI and 79 strikeouts. In 36 games, half plus 1 since he started pitching, 212 average, 30 hits, almost a third of what he had in the 70 games prior to pitching, 2 doubles, 2 triples, 13 home runs, and 32 RBI with 50 strikeouts. So you compare those numbers before and after he's starting pitching, and clearly the average has dropped dramatically. The pace in which he's hitting, in which he's getting on base, that has dropped as well. Extra base hits, with the exception of home runs, that has dropped. The only thing that is staying up there is the home runs and the runs batted in. Besides that, everything else has dropped. And you look at home runs and RBIs, and that means that Shohei, he's hitting the long ball, but he's not getting on base much if it isn't via the home run. And that definitely isn't a formula for winning when it comes to when it matters most. When you look at the postseason, you're going to be facing great pitchers left and right. And Shohei Ohtani can't be thinking every time he goes up at bat, home run, home run, home run, do or die. No, there has to be a turning point where Shohei is back to what we're used to in the batter's box. And him being a pitcher doesn't hurt him. If not, maybe it's time to go back to 2024 Ohtani. If the rotation is once again healthy, like it will be once Blake Snell returns on Saturday. But man, it's just frustrating knowing the type of player that Shohei Ohtani is. The level of superstardom that he has all around the world because of his skill on the diamond, because of what he can do when he hits a baseball with his bat, because he delivers day in and day out. But unfortunately, after back-to-back 0 for 5 outings, now we're asking this question. Because let's remember, right before these last 2 games in Cincinnati on Tuesday and on Wednesday, Shohei Ohtani had a 9-game hitting streak. But more than half of that hitting streak was thanks to home runs. So the point is still valid of him just trying to search, hitting bombs left and right, and that being the solution. I mean, when you look at what was happening after him with Mookie Betts when Shohei was hitting leadoff, Mookie was being very bad during the month of July. He finally started picking it up, and he had some good games in Boston, looked decent in Cincinnati, but Shohei maybe felt that pressure where it's like, well, the guy in front of me isn't getting on base. Now what can I do? Well, that's the situation right now. Mookie's hitting leadoff. Before that, Shohei was the leadoff batter. He had the 8 and 9 batters in front of him, and it's like, well, not all the time they got on base. So he might have felt the responsibility where it's like, okay, it's on me. If I get on base and Mookie Betts is behind me, is Mookie going to be able to bring me home? If he's not doing well, then what's next? Freddie Freeman, he wasn't doing well. So why is Shohei going to be searching for hits and doubles if the guys behind him aren't going to bring him home? So maybe that's why he was taking that approach. But man, you got to be a team first player. And Shohei, we'll give him credit. He has always been that team first player. Why did he steal 50 plus bases last year? Because he wanted to give the team more instead of just hitting. He couldn't pitch, so it was like, all right, I'm going to steal bases. Now Shohei Ohtani, he's that complete player. He's great when he's running the bases. Only player with triple-digit runs. He's great when it comes to swinging the bat, with the exception of this last month and change since he started pitching. He's great when it comes to pitching, with the exception of this game where he definitely wasn't himself. So let's see what happens. We still got the last third of the season and Shohei Ohtani. If I were a betting man, I would go in favor of him finding his groove once again, but I think he needs to change his approach because he's hurting the team right now. Next on Locked On Dodgers, a nightmare 8th inning had Andy Pages in the spotlight, unfortunately for all the wrong reasons. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off of it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. My first time playing golf, I hit a birdie on the second hole without even knowing how to play. Then it went downhill from there, but man, a total fluke is one of my favorite memories playing the sport. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your first order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is also not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Smash the notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every single game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers, like Samuel or Samuel, depending on how you want to pronounce it, who tunes in every day all the way from Tijuana, Baja California. Let's keep it rolling here on Locked On Dodgers because Andy Pages definitely wants to leave Wednesday's game in the rearview mirror and never think about it again. He went 1 for 4, but he'll be remembered by everyone for what he did in the 8th inning. The Dodgers, they didn't have a runner in scoring position until the 7th inning after Michael Conforto moved to second with the rookie, Alex Freeland, getting a walk. But Mookie Betts popped up to center field on the first pitch he saw. Man, how many times have we seen that already this season? It's crazy. Going on to the 8th inning, with bases loaded and 1 out, Andy Pages popped out to first base. To first base! All we needed was a sacrifice fly to the outfield and the Dodgers would have taken the lead. But no, non-competitive at bat from Pages. Dodgers then saw Conforto fly out to right field and the team left empty-handed in their best opportunity they had in the entire game. Right there, I was already feeling bad. I was already feeling out of it where bases loaded, Andy Pages, the way that he can hit the ball, I was like, okay, at the very minimum, we're going to get a sac fly, and with that, we take the lead. We go into the bottom of the 8th. Let's get out of it, score some insurance runs in the 9th, and win the game. Sweep a series for the first time since you swept the Chicago White Sox. No. Pages, non-competitive at-bat, popped out, and the inning kept on rolling. If Conforto had been the one with 1 out, it would have been a sacrifice fly for him. Pages, that disappointed me, but then to make matters worse in the bottom of the inning, runners in first and second with 2 outs and a full count for the Reds, a fly ball in left field foul territory. Pages somehow had the ball in his glove and couldn't control it. Fans didn't touch it. It was just not caught. There was no interference. Pages jumped. For some reason, the ball was in the field, in foul territory. It wasn't in the stands. He didn't have to go jump in the stands to get it. No, he jumped right there in the field. It hit him in the glove. He wasn't able to catch it. And that's frustrating because We've seen Pages make some incredible outs, some incredible plays for the Dodgers this year. But also, we've seen him with some blunders that are head scratchers and make us remember he's a second-year major leaguer. Total extremes for him when he's out there on the outfield. And of course, baseball was going to baseball. And 3 pitches later, Emmett Sheehan was taken deep to center field. James Outman was this close to making an incredible catch over the wall to make us forget that error from Mandy Pages, but he wasn't able to complete the catch. He avoided the home run and brought the ball back onto the field, but 2 runs scored courtesy of Spencer Steer instead of 3. And then the third one came in with an RBI single on the first pitch that Blake Trinan had in the game. A 5-2 loss against the Reds, and something amazing is that Cincinnati hasn't been swept in 2025. They're the only team in baseball that hasn't lost every game of a series this season. So props to them. That's pretty impressive. But after Pages did what he did in the 8th, he better be included in the holiday card list for Tito Francona and those in the Cincinnati front office. Unfortunately for Pages, everyone will be pointing at him as they remember those key moments in the 8th inning. And I mean, I'm kind of doing it right now. But all around the Dodgers, their bats once again didn't deliver. Once again, they were silent. But hey, at least they didn't strike out in double figures on Wednesday like they had done in 4 out of the previous 5 games. But in all seriousness, scoring more than 5 runs only 5 times in the month of July, that's very bad for a lineup as stacked as LA's, with a payroll as big as the Dodgers, who ended the month of July with a record of 10 wins and 14 losses, a sub-500 record in the month of July. They played 8 series. They won 4. They lost 4. They currently have a 63-46 record, the 3rd best in the National League, and they lead the NL West by 3 games. The Padres, they're right up on them, and they're making moves right now in the trade deadline. Will the Dodgers, they catch up with that and be like, okay, if the Padres are making moves, we got to make moves too. And now we're in the final third of the 2025 season. As a Dodgers fan, this is definitely not something that we're used to. And hopefully we don't see any more in the season while in what's left of it. Because you look at the Giants, the way that they completely collapsed in the month of July, and it could be like, well, put things into perspective. It could be worse. They're 9 games back. 9 games back of the Dodgers right now. And it wasn't long ago that the Dodgers were playing in the Bay against San Francisco. And if the Giants had swept the Dodgers, that divisional lead would have disappeared. The Dodgers won 2 out of 3, and they're still divisional leaders. But the Padres, they're starting to wake up. Careful. They're a dangerous team. I hate to admit it, little brother. They want to make some noise. Big bro got to wake up. Max Muncy, he might be returning very soon. He went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk in his second rehab assignment start over with the Oklahoma City Comets. They lost the game. They got whooped by Salt Lake again. But Max Muncy, he's out there. He's still waiting to get that big hit, get that home run, get that feeling going. But it's just rehab assignment. And at the end of the day, we weren't expecting him to be having any baseball activity until mid-August when his injury happened. So his return is going to be big for the Dodgers lineup, or at least that's what we're hoping. But man, it was tough. By the way, talking about third base, shout out to Alex Freeland, who made his big league debut by playing third base on Wednesday. He got his first major league hit and also drew a walk. Dave Roberts confirmed that he's going to play once again on Friday. So let's keep seeing what the top infield prospect in the Dodgers organization has in him. And I mean, you still got to wait a couple of weeks before or you can get Max Muncy in regular level play. What kind of risk are the Dodgers going to take with Muncy? Are they going to let him play 1 series in OKC and then bring him up? Or are they going to let him be out there for a week, for 2, and then bring him up? That's the big question. It depends on how the coaches in AAA look at him and how the coaches, the manager in the big league system, Dave Roberts sees him and be like, okay, we're comfortable in bringing him back because, man, we need his bat. We need his glove. We need to bring that glue back into the team that connects the lineup, that connects the locker room, the clubhouse, because Max Muncy is missed. Without him, the Dodgers have been, for the most part, a mess. on the field. Let's hope that mess clears up, because coming up on Locked On Dodgers, the Dodgers finally struck a deal ahead of the trade deadline, and I'm talking all about it next. Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers, not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find me at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry_Ruiz_ on TikTok. Let me know if you think the Dodgers will strike a big deal ahead of today's trade deadline, scheduled for 3 p.m. Pacific time. Late last night, Jeff Passan from ESPN reported that the Dodgers were involved in a 3-team trade with the team that they just played, the Reds, and the team that they're about to play, the Rays. Los Angeles received right-handed pitcher Paul Gervais, catcher Van Rortvedt, and left-handed pitcher Adam Serwinowski. All the Dodgers gave up was catcher Hunter Fiducia to the Rays, who also got pitcher Brian Van Vel from Cincinnati, and the Reds received right-handed pitcher Zach Littell from Tampa. Let's dissect this trade. First off, Gervais is a 6'10" reliever who just made his big league debut in June. He has only played in 6 games in the majors, where he had a 4.26 ERA, and his last outing in it, he allowed 2 solo home runs by the Tigers, and then he was sent back to AAA, where this year he has 63 strikeouts in 40 1/3 innings this year. Then, Rortvedt saw most of his major league playing time last year with the Rays, and has also been a backup catcher in the past with Minnesota and the Yankees. I see it very difficult for him to earn playing time because A, MVP candidate Will Smith, he will start most games for LA. And B, Dalton Rushing is the backup catcher for LA, so where does he fit? Last, but certainly not least, Serwinowski, who was the 10th ranked prospect in the Red system, and now he joins LA after having a good season in low A last year. This season, though, he has struggled in high A with an ERA of 5.45, with 92 strikeouts and 29 walks in 74 1/3 innings pitched. So he's certainly a guy that we can talk about as a high ceiling fellow. So in this trade, the Dodgers sent away the backup of the backup catcher, and in return received a reliever that they can use in the last third of the season, a prospect who can end up making noise in the future, and a catcher to now be the backup of the backup of the backup. Not a big move, not a big splash, but at the end of the day, a trade that we can talk of. Now, with the trade deadline around the corner, we're still waiting to see if they're going to join the teams making big moves like the Mets, who traded for Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers, but gave up 2 of their top 10 prospects to get them. Or Yohan Duran, who, despite being on paid leave for being investigated for potentially gambling on the game, he joined the Phillies, who sent their number 4 and 5 prospects to the Twins. That's a big bet right there. No pun intended. Well, maybe a pun is intended there. The prices, we're looking at them, they're high. And the Dodgers in the past, they have paid those big prices. Now we have seen 2 of the guys linked to LA in Helsley and Duran join other squads. There's still other guys, other players out there that could arrive. The reality is that the front office can look in the injury list and say, we're good. We'll get some guys back soon, and those are our reinforcements for the final stretch of the year. Now let's see. Are they going to be comfortable with that? Is that enough to go back-to-back World Series championships? Is that enough for this team to not only be a contender, but to be the top contender to lift the Commissioner's Trophy late in October? Because you look at the bullpen, and yes, we need help right there. But then you look at the injury list. Michael Kopech, Tanner Scott, Brusdar Graterol. There's options right there that if they come back and if they're in a good level, they can help your team. The big thing right there is I mentioned the word if a couple of times. How many times have we been waiting on Brusdar Graterol to be the bazooka that was feared by batters from the opposing teams every time that he was up on the mound? How many times have we said if Tanner Scott finds his groove, and he found it right there during the middle of the season, but right before the All-Star game, bam, he got slammed left and right, and the Dodgers, They saw their prized closer that they signed for a 4-year deal, $72 million contract, be the leader in the big leagues in blown saves. That's not what you want. So that's another big if. Or also, we've seen Andy Pages, who caught a super hot streak, and he was one of the best players in the big leagues before the All-Star break, kind of get cold. Kind of not be that same player that caught everybody's attention. Kind of making errors left and right, or let's not say errors, but just not making big plays that big-time players make. If you're the center fielder, you're the commander out there on the outfield. You're the voice that everyone listens to. He got moved yesterday during Wednesday's game to left field, and then he made a blunder, a mistake that, man, you can't let that happen, and it ended up costing the Dodgers 3 runs in the 8th and the loss. You can't be making those mistakes. So will the Dodgers go looking for a left fielder, for a center fielder, for a utility player? Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals, is he still an option? That's something where we got to keep our eye on, because Michael Conforto, I'll raise my hand and say, I've been one of the guys that has been criticizing him left and right, and that definitely hasn't been a fan of his for what he did during the first 3 months of the season. But this last month of July, and since late June when the Dodgers played in Colorado, he actually picked it up. He actually has been quieting all the haters and all the doubters and saying like, hey man, I'm a big leaguer. I'm a good player. I can get good at bats. The Dodgers don't win the game on Tuesday without Michael Conforto drawing 2 walks as a pinch hitter. He was out there, he was patient, he battled through at-bats, and he got 2 walks, and the Dodgers won because of it. He's earned my respect. I went from, Michael 0-4-toe, because it seemed like he was having 0-4s every day. Now, he's getting on base. He's getting the job done. He's making the Dodgers better when he's on the lineup. Something I never thought I would say 2 months ago, but it's the reality. He's somebody that Dave Roberts trusts, that Dave Roberts, we know that he has a long leash with players that come in and as outsiders and try to provide for this team, and it's finally paying off. So Michael Conforto might have his spot in left field. Andy Pages, right now he's a center fielder. But, man, like I said, Wednesday's game, it's going to be marked by that 8th inning. Are you comfortable having him through August, September, October as a starting center fielder for the Dodgers? I feel that there could be a move before the 3 p.m. trade deadline for a reliever and for an outfielder who could be a utility player, because we know the Dodgers love their players with a lot of versatility. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Thanks for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, we have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night, and you can have it be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast. I'll be back on Friday to talk about the Dodgers either making moves or not before the trade deadline. I'm Harry Ruiz, and I appreciate you riding with me. So until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.